sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat button. Join the conversation. I'll be delivering news, political commentary, and hopefully some guests. I'm trying to line some up. I'm trying to work on it. It's not as easy as one might think. If you want to contact the show, there's 3 ways. You can go to Reaver.one website. Click on the contact button. Send me a message. You can call in 813-518-5630. Or you can leave me a message through email. JerseyJoe@Reaver.one. Like I said, I mean, I always thought it was easy. It's easy to get guests. Yeah. Whew. Trying to line them up is not easy. Trying to get schedules lined up. Oh, boy. So, Black Lives Matter has been banned from the Nashville Library for black-only meeting policy and blames white supremacy on their racism. Yeah. I know that probably didn't make sense to anybody because they're going, what the hell? So Nashville Public Library officials informed Nashville's chapter of Black Lives Matter members that the group's open to black and non-black people of color-only meeting policy is prohibited on public property. Yeah, it's a little law within the civil rights. You can't discriminate based on color. Wow. There was some great civil leaders that fought to make everything equal, to do away with segregation. And it was well-deserved. Those laws should have been in place even before that. But now you got a group that their hatred for what's going on from a small group. And I know this does not define all blacks. I would never say that. And I understand this is a small group, and even maybe a small group within the Black Lives Matter. I don't know. But when you post that you're having a black-only meeting and non-black people of color, that is in direct violation of laws, and you're having it in a public library. They have to follow the laws. Just like there couldn't be a white-only meeting or, choose any color of the spectrum. There's already a lot of I don't want to say reverse racism because that's, not racist. But it seems it seems like there's now this racism towards white people and it's acceptable. There's a black entertainment television station. There is black scholarship funds. Black Miss Universe, I think it is. But there's a beauty pageant just for people of color. And it does go on. You got the NAACP. You have the BET and I think NAACP awards that only gives award to black people. And all this is acceptable. But if I did any of that just on a white side where it was just a white scholarship, you'd be screaming racist. If I did a white entertainment channel, well, as got pointed out, that'd be a porn channel, wet. But I'd be known as being a racist. And even speaking of porn, there's, the black on black, this. But if I did a white porn, I'd be yelled at for racist. Even talking about Asian pride I have on the show, black pride, it's all a positive thing. Even when you talk about the black supremacy groups. But if you say white pride, you're a racist. You're promoting white supremacy. Listen, I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in putting anybody down based on their color. Religion, whatever. I've said I do not blame all Muslims with everything that's going on. And I know that. But you can't then have a Black Lives Matter group. Even the name is screaming racism because all lives matter. Top to bottom, everybody's lives matter. I don't want to see innocent people being killed by cops, by blacks, by whites, by polka dots. I don't care. Unjustified murder is unacceptable. But Black Lives Matter having this meeting in a public meeting, in a public property, is against the law. The library said they didn't cancel anyone's meeting. A spokesman stated. They said after Black Lives Matter members moved their Saturday meeting to a church located a mile away, we're taxpayer funded. We have to be open to anyone, anytime. Now, again, they only did it because they were advertising that it was blacks and people, non-blacks of color. In a fit of rage, Black Lives Matter Nashville leader, Mr. Crutchfield, announced the group's meeting cancellation and reassessed members that white supremacists won't stop this movement. So because a group stopped them because they were being racist, because that's what they would scream if it was the other way around, they were being racist, Black Lives Matter was, so they're saying that it's white supremacy that was trying to stop the movement. They weren't trying to stop nothing. But they can't have a meeting that only promotes and allows black people. That is discrimination. At Black Lives Matter _ Nashville has been holding many meetings in libraries. We're very open about being a black and non-black POC space. But you promoted that non-black people of color only. The next tweet that was sent out, the libraries in Nashville cancel our reservation. We are no longer allowed to hold meetings in libraries unless white folks are invited. You don't have to have white folks invited, but you can't be putting out advertisement that says only blacks and non-blacks, people of color. Not screaming that you don't want white people, which you can't do. It's discrimination. And if the library allowed it, they'd be open to lawsuits. They'd be open to punishment from the federal. We know it would never happen from this administration, but it would be open to punishment on the grounds of discrimination and racism. Even better is the hypocrisy of Black Lives Matter Nashville, because they would not allow the white people. And the next tweet. Meeting location has been changed. White supremacists won't stop this movement. Due to white supremacy in our local government, this week's Black Lives Matter general body meeting location has changed. We will meet at the Dixie Memorial United, yada, yada. Black Lives Matter, and big letters they put this in. BLM general body meetings are open to blacks and non-black people of color only. They're screaming, I'm racist. We don't want white people. This movement has been from the start about separation of blacks and whites. They have done it repeatedly. Martin Luther King Jr. has to be rolling over at his grave. I've said it before. I'm not an expert on what he said and all that, but I do know he didn't want anything based on color. He wanted everybody getting along. He did not want separation. That was the whole fight, was the separation. But now there's a group, they want to be able to pick and choose when they want to be included in the whole thing. The whole grand scheme of life. They want to know when everybody gathers hands and comes together, or when it is only black people allowed. But Lord knows white people aren't allowed to do that. Crutchfield continued to make it clear that his Black Lives Matter chapter just wants to hold meetings in what he calls blacks only in non-white safe spaces. I love how they promote this, that they need a non-white safe space, like we're the ones doing all the killing. And I know people are going to scream I'm racist for this, but I hate to tell you, the blacks are killing more blacks than white killing blacks. Blacks are killing more whites than whites are killing blacks. Blacks are killing more blue than blue is killing blacks. And there has been some very courageous black people that have stood up, and they're putting out videos because they're tired of being lumped together. So they're speaking out, and I congratulate them. Speak out. Let people know you are not part of this movement. And they're speaking out saying, no, it is not the whites that are causing the problem. It is not the blue that's causing the problem. It's black causing problems for the blacks. I forget what comedian said it years ago. And he was being serious at that moment. And he said when he's walking down the street, he's not looking over his shoulder to see what white people are around him. He's looking over his shoulder to see what black hoodlum is coming up behind him to rob him. Said he didn't fear the white people. He feared a black person robbing him. And this guy, the comic was black. I only pointed out to show that it's not being racist. There's this underscore that you can't succeed because of your color. And that's why I'm against Democrats. Because they push that the only way you're going to succeed is if we help you. No, because I got friends. Yes, I got friends. I got black friends. And a lot of them are very, very, very successful. Not because someone helped them. Because they busted their ass. They work hard. They give respect. They act like adults. And it doesn't matter what color you are. You have small groups in each ethnicity that think they can act and say and talk and do as they like, wear what clothes they like. And then when they get out in the business world and they don't succeed because of that, they want to say it's because of the color of their skin, because they're part of this group or that group. No, because most of the time, and I did it myself, I had the ripped jeans, jean jacket, long hair, earrings, and I wasn't taken seriously because I did not look like I was being serious. So what I ended up doing is start getting ready for work. At the one time, I made a deal with my boss. Make sure my hair was tied back nice and tight. I'd wear a hat. All my earrings came out. I'd go to work. When I got done work, put the earrings back in, put the hair out of a ponytail, and go party up. When you go to work, and especially the field I was in EMS, you need to look professional. If you don't look professional, people are not going to trust you with your life. And this goes with any job. You go to work to Burger King, you go to work to McDonald's, and your shirt's half tucked in and the other half's untucked. Your hair's a mess, or you got it up in a mohawk, you got it whatever. If you don't look professional, you're not going to be treated like a professional. No matter what you do, take pride in what you do, and you will be treated that way. And this stuff with Black Lives Matter, Nashville, it's... I don't know. But they did release the following statement on its website. After several months of meeting at the North Branch Library on Wednesday, February 19th, the Nashville chapter of Black Lives Matter was contacted through email and by phone that library administrators received complaints regarding BLM's policy of general meetings being open to black and non-black people of color only. Although meeting rooms are available to local organizations for use as a cultural nature, we were informed that due to the library's policy of open meetings for meeting room use, all future meetings held at the library would be canceled. Ironically, all canceled dates were in February during Black History Month. The Nashville chapter of BLM has this policy in place to center the voices and experience of people of color that have historically been excluded or segregated within certain supposed public spaces. People and or people of color, blacks and or people of color only spaces are often questioned and viewed with suspicion, though there are seldom any interrogation of white-only boardrooms and staffs. However, we view these spaces as some days I can go through and not get tongue twisted, and other days, yeah. Particularly those who have experienced racialized violence and ardently maintain this policy as imperative to the work and mission of the BLM. I like how they throw in, there's never any interrogation of white-only boardrooms and staffs. Yeah, because boardroom members go to a public library to hold their corporate meetings. And those boardrooms, if they were only allowing whites, I'd be screaming too, and that they would not be allowed to use those spaces due to basing the attendance on someone's skin color. They're trying to justify their racism by trying to point out hypothetical, non-existent issues. And to point out that they were canceled during Black History Month, so what? Black History Month is a month where talk about people like Martin Luther King Jr., who was opposed to segregation, was opposed to having black-only meetings. That's the irony. That is... The library stated that they're only following the library policy that specifies all meetings at their facility must be open to public and news media. They have federal regulations they have to follow. They have these regulations that stop people from discriminating, including discriminating against black people. That does not mean black people then have the right to only have a black-only meeting. You can't do that in a public-owned facility. The library is only enforcing policies to ensure fairness for all community members regardless of race. The Nashville Public Library System is committed to civil rights and has a department devoted to the topic. What it is, this group wants to discriminate against other people, but they don't want to be discriminated in the process. I don't know. Anybody's allowed here at this show. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with your host, Jersey Joe, right here on hppundit.com, rebootingliberty.com, and shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
Dang it, missed it. Ha ha ha. I hate this iPod. Actually, that's why I was kind of distracted. I was looking up to get a new iPod. So, where were we? Well, number one, welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. Of course, I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm still... Last week, even though I was sick, I gotta say, not that I don't like being on air, I was actually kind of... It was like a junkie. Needed to get back. It was kind of nice to step away from all... especially the politics. And I also I created on Facebook my own, the news personality, because I want to separate between this and my personal Facebook. Just on the simple fact, I've gotten some comments of late that are a little scary. I mean... And it's not just, Republicans or... I can point it to one group. The politics is getting real bad. And people are taking it a little too far on this, how serious they are about it. And comments are being made and starting to scare me, worry me. And, yeah, I'm not going to allow my family to be... put in harm's way over this show. Nope. Not going to back down. But at the same time, I got to separate what I do and how I do it. So, CAIR, C-A-I-R, it's Muslim group. It says that Donald Trump is inciting violence against Muslims, which kind of shocks me because not that everything goes through my program here, but I have not seen or heard of increased violence towards Muslims. There's just another empty accusation thrown by a terrorist group. And yes, they have been officially declared in the past a terrorist group. They're still declared a terrorist group by what the heck? By several governments. Not just the United States. And the United States had them declared for the longest time. Hang on, what the heck? So, the CAIR has been declared, as I said, a terrorist organization in the United Arab Emirates, and was named by federal prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation's Hamas funding operation. CAIR's executive director and a supporter of the Palestine terrorist group Hamas said Trump is pushing inflammatory rhetoric after the GOP candidate told a story during a rally about Muslims being executed with bullets dipped in pig's blood. Trump reportedly told a story at a rally in South Carolina on Friday about General John Pershing operation during the Philippine-American War. Trump said he took 50 bullets and he dipped them in pig's blood, and he had his men load his rifles, and he lined up 50 people. They shot 49 of those people, and the 50th person, he said, you go back to your people, and you tell them what happened. And for 25 years, there wasn't a problem. Okay, he's talking history. He's talking what has happened in history. Okay, me and you may not agree on telling that story, but it's history. Talking about history. Awad, the Hamas supporter, responded to Trump's remark. Donald Trump's inflammatory rhetoric has crossed the line from spreading hatred to inciting violence by directly stating that the only way to stop terrorism is to murder Muslims in graphic and religious offensive ways. He places the millions of innocent, law-abiding citizens in the American Muslim community at risk from rogue vigilante. How the fuck do you get talking about history about what happened and correlate that he's inciting violence? He did not say, hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take what this general did, and I want you to go do it. Go forth and do it. No, and I don't know what the context he did to bring this up, but I've heard of it, and it doesn't make me want to go out. I mean, I've heard it without Trump saying it. It doesn't cause me to go out and want to shoot Muslims. I don't need a story, and a lot of people do not need it. It's history. It's a lesson in history. I mean, they got upset when, I think it was Spike Tactical. They're engraving on some of their AR-15s biblical passages. And by doing so, if there's ever something going on between the Muslims and this country, they would not be able to touch that rifle because, well, it's got religious, it's got Christianity passages on it, which they are forbidden to deal with. But I tell you what, I bet you that if push came to shove, they would pick that gun up and they would use it. They would use that in a heartbeat. With no issue, no complaint. If their life was on the line, they would use it. And I'm sure their God would forgive them to survive that they use that weapon. I know, I think my God would, to protect myself and my family. Carr was named as an unindicted co-conspirator in the 2007 Holy Land Foundation trial, a Hamas financing case that would result in the FBI ending relation working with Carr. Wow. The HLF trial was the largest terrorist financing case in American history. In 2008, during a retrial of the HLF case, and its FBI special agent labeled Carr as a front group for Hamas. During her trial testimony. In 2010, the federal judge said his court had ample evidence that Carr was involved in a conspiracy to support Hamas. Carr, which has relied upon millions of dollars in Saudi funds to spread its message, was recently listed by the United Arab Emirates as a terrorist organization. Carr, through a 501c3 organization, has continued to lobby against Republican candidates for president, which Dr. Ben Carson and other GOP presidential candidates has faced. Carr's negativity has argued should result in the revocation of their tax-exempt status. With that 501c3, you can't get in politics. You can't talk politics with it. And here we have Carr stepping into the realm of politics, talking about candidates. They should have it removed. Really, they should be labeled a terrorist organization, be sent packing out of the United States. Not because they're a Muslim group, because they have ties to Hamas. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. I know the Democrats like backing that group. But that doesn't mean that the United States wants to back a terrorist organization. Carr has also targeted Republican nominee, Senator Ted Cruz. The Texas senator has called Carr and the Muslim Brotherhood as a whole, has made calls to have them labeled as a terrorist organization. And they are. Muslim Brotherhood was enemy of the state. Enemy of the state is shoot on sight. But instead, we got them in the White House. We got them in high-ranking positions all over this great country. And then Democrats wonder why everybody points their finger at Obama and accuses him of being a Muslim. It's not like he's appointing all these positions here and there and being equal. Okay, by chance this one's a Christian, that one's a Jew, that one's Muslim. No, these people put in these positions have either ties to these groups or are part of the Muslim Brotherhood. So, if I get caught, and I don't do any of this, going to neo-Nazi meetings, Klan meetings, I get placed in high-ranking positions in all these groups, I'm going to be considered a racist. But then if I got upset because you're calling me a racist, and I'm part of racist organizations, how stupid would I look? Well, you can go and look at the president on that. He is a part of these organizations one way or another. He is putting people of power from these groups and then wondering and trying to deny he's part of it. Well, it's not kind of how it works there. I am completely and utterly amazed at the other one. Oh my God. So, we're not allowed to judge Muslims, Obama says. We're not allowed to judge Muslim by the act of a few people that are not Muslim that twist the Muslim religion so that they can do crimes. And we know it's Muslim terrorism. But then this man also is the one that claims all gun owners are bad because a few go about doing illegal activities. We have them screaming how his executive orders didn't go far enough, and it's proof by the shooting that happened just the other day. Well, hate to tell you, it also proves that your strict gun control is not going to stop anything. Your strict gun control is a fairy tale that does not work except taking guns out of... What the... I tell you, my board is... I got gremlins. Yes, I do. Alright, I am the Reaver of Common Sense right here on shrmedia.com, hppundit.com, and rebootingliberty.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I don't know. But yeah, definitely, Carr, if they're going to jump into the political realm and speak about candidates that is against the rules within a 501c organization. So, Joe Biden. This is getting really interesting when it comes to the Supreme Court nomination. Vice President Joe Biden spoke out forcefully against appointing a new Supreme Court justice in an election year in 1992, when he was chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee and George H.W. Bush was running for re-election. Footage of bin Laden delivering an emphatic floor speech on the subject on June 25th, 1992 was unearthed by C-SPAN on Monday. Oh, that adds a little something. Let's see what we got here. It's always interesting. Oh, now why can't it play? Hey. I had this yesterday. I played it yesterday. What's going on? See, I know it's always in interest when it comes to electronics. Oh, this is ticking me off. I had it working, it was up, and now, for whatever reason, it's not working. Let's see if I refresh that. Trying to see if I can get the video, or at least the audio, to go. And it seems somehow the video has been removed. Surprise, surprise, a video has been removed. Ooh. Come on. Work. Yes, I talk to electronics. Yeah, exactly, Dave. It's because I am on air, it won't work. Oh. Come on, you're right there. Come on, you can do it. All right. Why, it thinks. We'll get back to it in a second. It never works properly the way it should. I can't say that because it's done it several times in the past. Wait.
Result?
Oh, now it's going to be all choppy. Let me give a minute to load. All right, Biden argued in part, "It is my view that if a Supreme Court justice resigns tomorrow or within the next several weeks or resigns at the end of summer, President Bush should consider following the practice of a majority of his predecessors and not name a nominee until after the November election is complete. The Senate, too, Mr. President, must consider how it would respond to a Supreme Court vacancy that would occur in the full throes of an election year. It is my view that if the president goes the way of Presidents Fillmore and Jackson and presses an election year nomination, the Senate Judiciary Committee should seriously consider not scheduling confirmation hearings on the nomination until after the political campaign season is over."
It is my view that if a Supreme Court justice resigns tomorrow or within the next several weeks, or resigns at the end of the summer, President Bush should consider following the practice of a majority of his predecessors and not name a nominee until after the November election is completed. The Senate, too, Mr. President, must consider how it would respond to a Supreme Court vacancy that would occur in the full throes of an election year. It is my view that if the President goes the way of Presidents Fillmore and Johnson,
Okay. Watch will start up as soon as I start talking about everything.
And presses an election year nomination, the Senate Judiciary Committee should seriously consider not scheduling confirmation hearings on the nomination until after the political campaign season is over. And I sadly predict, Mr. President, that this is going to be one of the bitterest, dirtiest presidential campaigns we will have seen in modern times. I'm sure, Mr. President, after having uttered these words, some will criticize such a decision and say there was nothing more than an attempt to save a seat on the court in hopes that a Democrat will be permitted to fill it. But that would not be our intention, Mr. President, if that were the course we were to choose as a Senate, to not consider holding hearings until after the election. Instead, it would be our pragmatic conclusion that once the political season is underway, and it is, action on a Supreme Court nomination must be put off until after the election campaign is over. That is what is fair to the nominee and essential to the process. Otherwise, it seems to me, Mr. President, we will be in deep trouble as an institution.
All right. It seems to me that the Democrats want their cake and eat it too. Because this is not the only current official of a Democrat that has tried to block nominations during election year. But now that it's a Democrat, they want to be able to do what they want when they want, which shows the hypocrisy that's within the organization of the Democrats. The United Press and international agency reported that day Biden conceded that the court might have to operate with a member short this fall, but added this may be the only course of action that historical practice and practical realism can sustain. Biden added that while it was president's right to nominate justices to the Supreme Court, it was equally his right to oppose and block them. The New York Times reported that Biden evading any responsibility for the nastiness of the confirmation fight over Robert H. Bork, who was rejected, and Clarence Thomas, who was eventually approved, explained that it was necessary to postpone any new potential appointment to the court because of the danger of radical right. So it's okay when the left does it, and he, as I said, he's not the only one. You have Chuck Schumer, you have Hillary Clinton, you have Obama himself wanted to filibuster a presidential Supreme Court nomination, and the George W. Bush, President 43, still had 18 months left in his presidency, and Obama didn't want him nominating a Supreme Court judge. Now, Obama has less than a year, and they talk, oh, well, we were mistaken back then. I apologize for that. So that erases what I did, so that doesn't count. You can't bring up that stuff. And that's what the Democrats are basically doing. You had Biden in the ear of Ted Cruz that was starting issues. Mr. Biden said it was inevitable that the Supreme Court would become slightly more conservative given the Republicans controlled the White House and the moderate Southern Democrats are a force in the Senate. But he added that President Bush and his predecessor, Ronald Reagan, had sought to move the court sharply to the right, naming justices who would adopt a conservative agenda. He said both presidents had conceded power in the nominating process to the radical right. Anybody see the hypocrisy going on here? It's okay for the Democrats to do it, but they're going to chastise the right for doing it. Because now they're putting in justices that are very liberal and anti-American. They're anti-Constitution. So it's okay to appoint them and have a radical socialist left, but they're going to bitch and moan when it's a radical right and try to stop it. And then sit there and, well, you can't talk about that. That was the past. I apologize. It's done with. Screw you. Seriously, I'm sick of that shit. I am sick and tired of it. Left, right, center, independent, you can be a goddamn Martian. Everybody can see the bullshit that's going on here, and we need to stand up and say enough of this crap. Enough. Biden goes on, it is this power grab that has unleashed the powerful and divisive forces that have ravaged the confirmation process. Either we must have a compromise in the selection of future justices, or I must oppose those who are the product of the ideology nominating process. I don't see him standing up and complaining now. I don't see him standing up and telling the current president not to do any nominating. Does anybody else? The USA Today report further that Biden said, can your Supreme Court nomination and confirmation process, so racked by discord and bitterness, be repaired in a presidential election year? History teaches us that this is extremely unlikely. Interesting, some influential Republican argue that that Supreme Court appointments should not be made in an election year, taking the same position they have adopted today against President Barack Obama, nominating a replacement for Justice Scalia, of course, who died very recently. And that the one shouldn't be appointed until a president takes office in 2017. I have to agree with my father. It is sickening what I'm seeing. The man was not even cold, and everybody was complaining and doing political fights. You have Obama, who couldn't even go to the man's funeral. He couldn't go to the man's funeral. That's how sick our politicians have gotten. I think that's the first time that that's happened. That a president has not gone to a funeral of a sitting Supreme Court justice member. I don't care if you're progressive, if you're... what political party you're from. This man has spit in the face of every American time and time again and has gone against everything that we stand for as a country. Senator Orrin Hatch told the New York Times that he believed members of the Supreme Court are aware that a confirmation battle in an election year would be so divisive that anyone contemplating retirement would probably delay doing so until after the election. However, Senator Alan Simpson, the minority whip, was quoted by National Public Radio disagreeing with Biden. It's not for the chairman of the Judicial Committee to decide who the President of the United States submits as a nominee to the United States Supreme Court. Attorney General at the time, William Barr, told Larry King in an interview on CNN that the President should nominate a new justice. King, let's touch some other bases. Senator Biden, chairman of the Judicial Committee, said today if a vacancy occurs, the president should not name a new member of the United States Supreme Court. He should wait till after the election. Do you agree? Mr. Barr, well, that is his advice. I think the president's responsibility under the Constitution is to nominate people to fill vacancies, and the president will make up his own mind as to. King interrupted and said, what if he asked your advice? What would you say? Mr. Barr, I'd say we should go ahead and nominate somebody for a vacancy. I think it's important that when the court meets in the fall, it have a full complement of 9 justices. The Bush White House itself also disagreed with Biden. The president alone has the responsibility to nominate justices. In the event of a vacancy, he will discharge his duties under the Constitution as he sees fit. I'm sick of the double standard. It happens time and time and time and time again in this country. And it's getting worse, our politics are, every year. Maybe we ought to have a little change and not leave it up to the president, since no president anymore seemed like they could do it in a neutral setting. Maybe we need to allow, when these vacancies happen, that is given to a vote to the people. And not an electoral vote, an actual vote. And leave it to the people. But then again, the people are getting just as bad with their politics as their politicians. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense show right here on rebootingliberty.com, hppundit.com, and shrmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
if you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show.
I don't want to be me. I don't want to be anymore.
Just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. All right. There's definitely a double standards within the Democrat Party right now for a high court nomination, as we've been talking about. And we're going to talk about a little bit more, and we're going to get a little bit into others. Scalera was nominated by the U.S. Supreme Court by Ronald Reagan on June 17, 1986, and was confirmed by the Senate 3 months later on a vote of 98-0. That approval was unanimously because Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders had not yet arrived in the Senate. And because Joe Biden wore himself out fighting Reagan's elevation of William Rehnquist to Chief Justice. I know I just butchered that man's name. I don't know what to say. I suck at pronouncing last names. President Obama, the youngest of the four Democrats, was still a Chicago community organizer who had enrolled in law school when Scalera was appointed to the court. Ms. Clinton was in Little Rock, doing triple duty as a mom, corporate attorney, and First Lady of Arkansas. Bernie Sanders was the socialist mayor of Burlington, Vermont, hosting a public access TV program, Bernie Speaks with the Community. Yeah. Today, that quartet, the incumbent president and vice president, and the two candidates vying for the party's 2016 presidential nomination are the face of the Democrat Party. When it comes to the Supreme Court, however, they are two-faced. Perhaps a better way of putting it is that these Democrats have demonstrated that they have had two standards when it comes to judicial appointments, one for themselves and another for Republicans. For a senator, that's not unusual. Republicans have been known to practice situational ethics. For a senator who wants to be a president, it's a potential pitfall. In other words, if Senate Republicans apply the standards for Scalera's replacement used by Senator Barack Obama, Biden, Clinton, Sanders, the Supreme Court is going to have only 8 members for a while. The seeds of his impasse were planted in 1981 when Ronald Reagan surprised his own staff when his first high court vacancy arose weeks after his inauguration. During the 1980 campaign, he promised to name a woman to one of the first Supreme Court vacancies in his administration. Taking him at his words, Reagan legal affairs team included the names of 12 women lawyers among the 20 prospective names on their list. Reagan never considered the men, and Sandra Day O'Connor was chosen and unanimously confirmed. The Senate's most conservative Republicans ignored grousing from the National Right to Life Committee and the moral majority. Jerry Falwell said all good Christians should view the appointment with concern. O'Connor's Arizona homeboy, Barry Goldwater, growled every good Christian ought to kick Falwell right in the ass. And that was the end of it. Or maybe it was the beginning of the mess we have today when Warren Burger stepped down as Chief Justice in Reagan's second term. Reagan proposed elevating Bill Rehnquist, another Arizonian, and the court's most conservative member, as chief, while simultaneously naming the 50-year-old Scalera to the vacancy. Obsessed then, as now, with identity politics, Democrats shielded away from challenging the first Italian-American appointee in court history. But led by Senator Ted Cruz, they went after Requies in a bruising confirmation process in which they stopped just short of tarring Requies as a racist. Although the efforts to derail Requies was doomed, the man was already on the court. 31 Democrats and 2 liberal Republicans voted against it. Except for a Southern Republican nominated by Herbert Hoover and defeated by 2 votes, it was the strongest opposition to a Supreme Court nominee in the 20th century. This was the beginning of a tribal warfare over the court that erupted the following year when Ted Kennedy led the Democrats in a fierce campaign to block Reagan's third appointee, Robert Bork. Within hours of the White House announcement, Kennedy issued a statement and famous for its intemperance. Robert Bork is America, he said. As a land in which women would be forced into back-alley abortions, blacks would sit at segregation lunch counters, rogue police could break down citizens' doors in midnight raids, and school children could not be taught about evolution, writers and artists could be censored at the whim of the government. I'm sitting here, why I gave that little snort. Think about today. And what do we have with the Democrats? They're indoctrinating our kids with the socialist bullcrap. They have police knocking down people's doors and doing illegal searches. And now the blacks want, certain black groups want separate lunch counters. Now those back alley abortions have gone into these doctors' office, and even if you didn't want an abortion, they're pushing you into abortions. No one see. Hopefully, you can see the irony in what Kennedy says, and look at what we have today. And a lot of that's going on. What he said it would happen. But it's not the Republicans pushing it. Democrats ultimately defeated Bork, derailed Reagan's replacement, Douglas Ginsburg, and the Reagans finally settled on Anthony Kennedy. When he left office, the star of the Reagan Revolution had appointed 2 moderates and a conservative to the high courts. Movement conservatives hope a revolution would produce a more dramatic result, but bigger problems came under Reagan's successor. George H.W. Bush appointed 2 justices, David Soter and Clarence Thomas. Soter turned out to be liberal. The narrowly confirmed Thomas provided a reliable conservative vote, but the attacks on him were so nasty and personal that his reputation never fully recovered. Neither has the process. In those years, Alan Simpson, a prominent Senate Judicial Committee Republican, warned that the Democrats' scorched earth tactics would be jade and gull us for years to come. The eventual upshot, he predicted, would be a nominee Simpson dubbed Jerome P. Sturdley, whom he described as a faceless, witless, and terminally bland soul. Thirdly, Simpson's imaginary lawyer had written little that was thoughtful, challenging, or provocative, and would reveal nothing about his true views on constitutional law. It can be argued that Souter, who actually hid his views, and Thomas, who claimed to have never discussed Roe v. Wade, were the first 2 Studleys. There have been others. Modern presidents don't try to get Earl Warren or Louis Brandeis. Today's model is the young Ivy League ideology with little practical experience who's been tolling on the appellate's bench, issuing bland partisan opinions. The last 4 appointees, 2 by George W. Bush and 2 by Barack Obama, fit this mold. John Roberts and Samuel Alito, Sonia Sotomayor. Oh my God, why can't people have easy names anymore? That's it. That's what I want as a requirement for all politicians in all Supreme Courts. They must have very generic and easy to pronounce last names. Damn it. You're making me think. All four were confirmed comfortably, but a pattern has emerged. In each of those cases, significant number of opposition party senators voted against the nominee just because they differed with them politically. Among those who voted against Roberts and Alito were Obama and Clinton. They tried to filibuster Alito. Sanders wasn't in the Senate yet, but he was running for his current seat during Alito's confirmation fight, and he opposed it. Joe Biden, he voted against Rehnquist, Bork, Thomas, Roberts, and Alito, and said publicly he deeply regretted voting for Scalera. And in 2005, when Alito was nominated, Obama not only supported a filibuster designed to stop it, but slimmed the nominee as somebody who is contrary to core American values, not just liberal values. Even at the time, these comments seemed particularly tenured, coming from someone who hoped to be making such appointments in the future. Obama's press secretary last week issued tepid regrets for the attempted filibuster, but this is the very definition of seeking cheap grace. Cheap grace is an understatement. It's biting him in his ass, what it's doing. His own words are being used against him, and he's trying to atone for his sins so that they aren't used against him. Well, it doesn't not work that way. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. The hypocrisy, the bullshit that goes on. Ooh. I just noticed on my chat the damn scroll was up, so I didn't see what was being said. I'm sorry, I'm reading some. Dave, I'm not sure what you meant by Ted Cruz didn't oppose any Reagan nominees. Yeah, he wasn't in office then. Did I bring Cruz up during the mistakenly say his name? If I did, I apologize. Where was it? It's just this double standard that's going on is really annoying. Recognize that it was a trap. Hillary Clinton didn't go there. She's sticking by her opposition to Alito and Roberts, asserting in Thursday's MSNBC town hall that she didn't believe their judicial philosophy and approach was one that would be the best for the country. Repeating a White House talking point, Clinton added that the process worked and that both nominees were in the end confirmed. That's very different, she added, from Republicans just announcing they don't want Obama to nominate another one. Jeez. I mean, this is the exact arguments that the Democrats gave, so the Republicans are using it. And this just shows the double standard, the hypocrisy that goes on in our government. Day in, day out. It's... On one level, she's right, but by that logic, actually filling Scalera's vacancy necessitates Obama nominating someone whose judicial philosophy and approach is one that a majority of the Senate Republicans would deem best for the country. So a bar has been set. Call it to the Clinton standard. Does anyone believe Obama will meet it? I very much doubt he will actually nominate somebody that's neutral. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And you're listening on RebootingLiberty.com, HPPundit.com, and SHRmedia.com. We'll be right back after this. message.
Media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka's stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I don't know. It's... And I'm not saying that the Republicans are in the right here, because they do the same thing the Democrats are doing right now. And the Democrats have done what the Republicans are doing right now. So they're both getting a taste of their own medicine back and forth. It's... I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think anybody will know the answer for a while. And there's no simple answer. I don't know. But Super Tuesday is coming down upon us. An epic showdown between Trump, Cruz, with Rubio on the sidelines. And actually, I just noticed yesterday. And I didn't notice until yesterday that Trump had taken all 50 delegates out of South Carolina. And it wasn't a winner-take-all state, but he ended up taking all the delegates with him. That is not good altogether. I mean, it's what? He's walking away with a nice lead. I mean, it's early. Yes, I understand that. But it's still, that's a nice lead. And we have primaries today and tonight in Nevada. And then March 1st, it's coming upon us. And that's, my memory serves me correct, is the big, that's the big Super Tuesday that's coming. It's, they call it the SEC of voting. It's a lot of the Southeast block. And it has been the last couple of years. Those that have won New Hampshire and South Carolina have gone on to be the nominee of the party. Also, those that win the Southeast end up going to be the nominee. I've seen a couple maps, and I know it's all over the place with different maps. Yeah, I do. I have no problem that he took all the delegates. It just, the last I saw, he was at like 42 delegates for South Carolina. I didn't know that he took all 50. Some maps are showing, okay, they're actually showing Cruz right now in the lead, or not Cruz, Rubio in the lead for Texas, which surprised me. I've also seen some that show Cruz in the lead and Trump in the lead for Texas. Texas seems to be a throw up in the air, which should be a slam dunk for Cruz. And it was just like a red map I saw, and the red was the color that was actually used for Trump. But he would lose California to Cruz. Or, why do I keep saying that? To Rubio. And there was like 2 or 3 other states that would go to Cruz and Rubio. The one big thing about the win in South Carolina I got to mention is it has a high evangelist, religious people. And everybody was expecting that's where Cruz would win. Well, Trump won the majority of that vote, which shocked even myself and shocked others. And he won every county except, 2 or 3. And that was Cruz that won the other ones. Excuse me, damn it, Rubio, I keep doing that. I got a brain fart between Rubio and Cruz today. Cruz walked out. He did not win a single county in South Carolina. That does not bode well for him. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not out to bash one candidate or another. I'm just talking what I'm seeing and what has happened. I do understand people's reservations on Trump. I just think those reservations, in my opinion, outweigh the reservations I have on Cruz and Rubio. And as I've said multiple times, the part that I hate what I'm seeing is not people. I might talk to you and say this is why I am a Trump supporter. And this is why I don't go with your candidate. But the fighting that's going on, we're all conservatives. We're all supposed to be the same part of the same party. And I don't understand the tactic of insult and shame your opponents right now. And I understand there's issues, there's battles, but the fighting that goes on and the insults, and it's everybody's doing it. Trump, Cruz, Rubio, Carson, Kasich supporters, they're all attacking each other. And you know what, David, and I can't say that you could be right, but you can say that about Cruz, you can say that about Rubio, you can say that about every candidate, because you know they all say one thing, and when they get in office, do another. Especially the politicians, that's what they're good at. Cruz, I don't trust him on anything. I don't trust him on immigration. I don't trust him on this constitutional trip. I don't. His tactics really turned me off. I was supporting him until the tactics that he started using, which were the same tactics that Obama used twice to get elected. And that's what turned me off. Yeah, Trump could be a bad president. He could be the next great. Rubio could be the next great. Nobody will know until they get in office and they actually do it. There was a lot of people who thought Obama was going to be the next great, and he turned into a big flop. I mean, I don't think... Yeah, and you have the right, Dave. You have the right to feel that way, and I'm not trying to change your mind. My problem, as I said, is the insults, the shaming. Those are tactics of people who have nothing to stand on with their candidate. And that's what I'm really talking about, Dave. I'm not trying to bump Trump up over anybody. It's the tactics that are being used by supporters and tactics being used sometimes by the candidates. I don't like that type of stuff. And I don't understand when you sit there and you insult and shame somebody. Okay, we'll take Cruz. Let's say he wins the nomination. Now, all those tactics he did have turned off a lot of people. That is how you're going to win when you just insulted half your base. You've called them morons, you called them all these names, and now you're going to be buddying up to them. Let me tell you, if this happened in the firehouse, because there was a lot of stuff that would go on during elections. If you sat there, you're insulting me, and then you won the nomination, you come up to me, and you're trying to buddy up for my vote, I'm probably going to punch you square in your mouth. And not vote for you. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not bagging on Cruz or Rubio supporters. Everybody has the right. I've said that repeatedly. That is what makes America great. You have the right to pick out your candidate. And you shouldn't have to fear picking out a candidate and hide it because you're going to get attacked by the other ones. You shouldn't have that fear. And I've attacked Trump supporters for doing that. I've attacked Cruz, Rubio, Kasich, Carson, all of them. It's not I'm picking on one or the other. I've seen where all of them are doing that, and that is disgusting to me. If you can't, and it's not if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. I do have a thick skin. And yes, I will agree with you there. I will agree, whoever gets nominated, some people are there's going to be a lot, well, they say they're going to stay home. You don't know until... I mean, you always get, how about the people that are saying, well, if Trump gets elected, I'm moving out of this country. Well, if Obama gets elected, I'm moving out of this country. Yeah, they're still here. And I even reported on that a while ago of during election years that immigration office gets a lot of phone calls about how do I get a Canadian citizenship, because if Trump or Obama gets elected, I'm going to go move to Canada. They hear it a lot. And they say that very, very few actually do that. So there will be some that stay home no matter who the candidate is, because it's not their candidate. And that's why I'm saying that you shouldn't be insulting each other's base. Push what you think your pros are. If you think this is what's wrong with the other candidate, say that's why I think is he makes a bad candidate, she makes a bad candidate. That is the smart way, I think, doing it. And I think you would win people over. I just have a huge problem with it. I'm sorry. And I don't think it's proper to be insulting everybody. And I have the thick skin, and me and my friends go around insulting each other. Yeah, same, exactly. Lefty said if George W. Bush was elected, they'd move to Canada, and they never did. Everybody says those types of things in the throes of election season. But it's not, I got thin skin. I just don't think it's smart to be doing that. It's really, really stupid. Insult the people that you want to vote for you later on. I don't know. Oh. I don't know. It's not a good thing what's going on. And even what's going on within the Democrat, they got the same problem between Bernie and Hillary. You got this young base that is not going to take the bullshit from the Democrat Party, and they've kind of created that whole scene. I don't get it. Maybe I'm getting too old. Maybe I'm getting old and grumpy. I don't know. I don't think it's smart. You can have your candidate and respect others. Because as I said, that is what makes America a great country. Is we have the right to pick who we want. And that's what we complained about with Obama. We complained when he did tactics that I call stealing votes, when you deceive someone to vote for you. You're stealing votes. You're stealing the American dream from people. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm looking at a dream that's not there anymore. Maybe I'm wishing that, the America, that America is not around anymore. I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's not a good thing what we got going on right now. Not good at all. So, tell you what, that's actually that time. Damn, I'm good. Just remember, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. That's right, you're listening on shrmedia.com, rebootingliberty.com, and hppundit.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the Reaver After Dark, hosted by Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe, and Jersey Crash, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you missed any of the Reaver of Common Sense or Reaver After Dark show, just go to Reaver.one. While you're there, click the like button so you can keep up with everything Reaver. Now, back to the show.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. And thank you for listening. I mean, I'm on 3 great stations. SHRmedia.com, that's my parent station. That's the one I started on. That's the one I owe everything to. And Sean pushing me to go live. I was talking to a possible guest, and I respect that when we talked that they didn't know much about my show. They liked what I had to say, and they wanted to listen to a few shows before they committed to coming on, and I respect that. I really do. And I actually like that they wanted to make sure I was who I said I was. I like that. They do the diligence. They don't take everybody, oh, well, he said this, and, you know, I could be some liberal whack job and get them on air, and boom, blindside them. So I appreciate it. And also, it might not be a fit, the way I do my show. I know I'm not the normal. And that's what I like about my show. And the way that I do things is I don't do it the normal way. My thinking is not in the box thinking. I think outside the box. Yeah, I always thought that was a good thing about me. So this one, I hope she's a strong opinion, a strong supporter. She cares about the country. Very strong on, I can't say it enough, on her strength and love for this country. Her father was ex-military, and she doesn't like the direction and what she sees in the country, and she's speaking out. And I love it. That's why I asked her. This is not a knock. It's not like I'm getting some big celebrity. It's someone that cares about this country. And just as I had the opportunity, I want to get her on air and let her speak what she wants. So, but like I said, I like to do things outside the box, and my thinking is not normal. I know that. And that's, as I said, it's a good thing. I don't think the normal way. I call it the Jersey way. We do things a little bit different, but we get the results and the job done. Unlike our president, who, we had the shooting in Kalamazoo, and he says it shows that the shooting in Kalamazoo, that the executive gun controls didn't go far enough. And I say, no, this is proof that your gun control does not work. Period. End of sentence. End of discussion. It shows that it doesn't work. This man passed a background check, a stringent background check to be an Uber driver. He had his guns legally, and for whatever reasons that I haven't heard yet, he went on a little spree because he's a nut job, or because he was upset, or because he got a ass hair twisted the wrong way. I don't know. And I hate this. Well, see, that's it. It was a white shooter, and he was taken in peacefully. Oh, please. Tired of that one. Oh, I'm so tired of that one. And supposedly because he's white, this is proof that the NRA is a terrorist organization. Hate to tell you that none of these mass shootings have been committed so far by a NRA member. When you blame the NRA for these shootings, it immediately says to me that you're a moron on the gun subject, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and that you're only going to parrot what your overlord politicians tell you to say. Come to me with something outside the box. Come to me with how you actually feel and not what you're told to tell me. He is not a terrorist. Yes, he terrorized the town. I understand that. He is not a terrorist, whether white, black, pink, purple. I understand that when these Muslims do it, but they also sit there and they say they're doing it for a cause of terrorists. So yes, then they're classified as a terrorist. What they're trying to do, the Democrats, by doing this, is they're trying to weaken the word terrorist. Now, I got asked, how do you weaken a word? You see, that's how stupid you are. You're going to weaken a word. Yes. Same way race being called racist does not have the same effect it used to have. You overuse a word, people become used to it. They become complacent. They understand the meaning. They just don't give a shit because it's called all the time. So when everybody in America gets used to the word terrorist and it doesn't scare them anymore, we don't have to worry about blaming the Muslims and having fear come up. So yes, they call everything terrorists right now. This guy is a terrorist. And he took 6 lives. And Obama immediately politicizes it. And he says that demonstrate that his executive orders of gun control did not go far enough. You flippin' moron. None of your gun control will work. Your gun control laws are already in place. The laws that you want to put in place are already there. I wish I can get up to Obama's ear and just scream at the top of my lungs, those laws already exist, you moron. They exist. Everything he wants to do already exists. Enforce the laws we have. Enforce the laws we have on immigration. None of these systems are broke. What we have broken is an administration that is not enforcing the laws. That's simple. Sorry. I had to take a big gulp of soda. Mouth was getting dry there. It was previously reported that the 45-year-old Uber driver allegedly shot and killed 6 people and wounded 2 or 3 others in between fares on Saturday night. This guy was so disgusting that he went around shooting and driving people around to collect money and then do a shooting and take someone somewhere. He had no criminal history, no known mental illness, and he passed the background checks to drive for Uber. How are you going to stop that shooting? That shows how the Democrats want to ban guns. Because the only way within their sick, twisted thinking that you could stop that shooting is if you banned guns. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't. It is not going to work. You're not going to stop these things from happening. Humans have a gene within us, for whatever reason. If you want to go scientific, there's some gene that makes us do this, that makes us have the ability to kill each other. We've been killing each other since the dawn of time. And if you want to go to the religious part, the devil's on our back and causing these evil acts to happen. And until the devil is defeated, you're never going to stop these acts from happening. So you can look at it whichever way you want, and if there's any others, fine. You believe the way you want. But since the dawn of time, we've been killing each other. And I'm not justifying it, saying it's okay. Just a simple fact. You only need one law. Murder is against the law. That should stop everybody from committing murder. But it doesn't. So you can add as many goddamn laws as you want. You're still going to have these acts, these heinous acts. I'm sorry. I want to be able to defend myself in those situations. I don't know if you could have defended yourself in this situation. The guy wasn't going around and in the same area and shooting. He was taking 1 or 2 pot shots, leaving, going to another spot, bang, 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 or excuse me, pew, pew, pew. I have to be like a Democrat. My gun goes pew, pew, pew. We got to ban those. Yeah, if your gun's going pew, 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 you got a problem. Mine make very loud booms. And people are already on Twitter, the so-called experts. They don't know squat about what's going on. But because their overlords tell them it's the evil, evil, evil NRA. No, it isn't. You half-witted nerf-herder. I called someone that and they got all upset. How dare you? That's so mean. I called you a fictitious creature. And I pointed out, everybody's laughing. The person never watched Star Trek or Star Wars in their life and didn't understand. It just... There is nothing you can do. There's a sheriff in New Hanover County Sheriff in North Carolina. Points out that background checks cannot stop latent criminals. It will not stop anyone. Because you can hide. I mean, how many criminals do we have that have no history? But, okay, these mafia guys, when they finally do get arrested and charged, they get charged with 100 and some goddamn counts of criminal activity. But before that, they've had 0. You cannot stop these acts. They do not happen more in this country. Who's scruffy? Scruffy looking nefferter. We're not going to stop this, folks. Until we can find out that gene that makes us want to kill each other. Till you find out what is in our head that makes us want to kill each other. It's not going to stop. Take away guns. The criminals are going to have the guns. You can still get them black market. You take those away. They're going to kill you with knives. Stones. Sticks. Arrows. A fork. A spoon. You can cut someone's heart out with a spoon. Yeah, but it's dull. Exactly. It'll make it hurt worse. So, that's all of the show. Remember, Reaver of Common Sense, every Monday through Friday, I am here, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., making stupid quotes and thinking outside the box. Until tomorrow, have a good day.
I've been around this world, yet I see no end. All shall fade to black again and again. This storm that's broken me, my only friend, yeah. In this river